with you. Here's what again, I'll put this on record now because it's not that far away, and we can look back on this broadcast later. Come November, chances are good Trump gets in, or I mean, not Trump, Biden gets in, and Trump supporters don't really do anything. He concedes, and that's probably how it's going to go.
Again, I think you live in a movie. I think you think doing something is a guy standing up and saying, "I hereby declare," instead of 7 guys going out and being like, hey, can we make sure that any of those trucks coming in don't have the illegals? Because we've had a couple trucks come through here that did, and they've been transporting them. Now, I tried calling ICE, but they won't answer. So Jim and I are going to go out.
Don't consider that a civil war. Just that would be low-scale vigilanteism.
So yeah, there we go. We got Andrew Wilson, and we've got Tim Pool. This is an epic discussion. It was really supposed to be Andrew Wilson versus Richard Spencer, but Tim Pool is Tim Pool. He's a big name. He's not going to back down. Let's hear these two go at it. If you don't know, Andrew Wilson is a vet on the debate bro scene right now. He's debating everybody, anytime, anywhere. Tim Pool used to be a debate bro, but he rose up to being just a big time, one of the biggest influencers right under Joe Rogan that's out there. Let's see these two heavyweights collide.
So, right, and what precipitates civil war?
It would have to be some large segment of the population, that 5% or higher, who are doing some type of sedition or considerable treason, what would be considered considerable treason to the United States government. That would be that is what I would consider to be some type of actionable civil warfare.
Just 5%?
Yeah, 10%.
What is it? 60%? 60%? No, it's like 70% of the Republicans think that the Democrats have already committed sedition.
Yeah, I'm sure that they do.
Right,
but
so
they're not acting in a way as though they have.
I think
that's the problem, right? If you think that somebody has truly acted in a way as to be a traitor, right? What do you do to traitors?
Sedition and treason are two different things.
Yeah, I know. But if you were to say that you think a person's acting in such a way that they're a traitor, what do you do to traitors? Last I checked, they get hung, right?
But treason and sedition are not the same thing.
Yeah, I know. But the point of my hypothetical is to say they're not acting in such a way as though these people, while they say you're seditious or they say you're treasonous, whichever one, they're not acting as though they are. They might say it. But
so a lot of times when you have debate, here's Andrew Wilson, and they're talking through each other. There's not really a solid disagreement here, but it makes for entertaining debate. That's what we do at After Show Carnage. So Andrew Wilson is debating through Tim Pool. Tim Pool is debating through. They're not connecting on a solid topic. Tim Pool has never said, on this day, this time, you're going to see a civil war. What he's been saying, and from my watching Tim Pool, is that things are escalating towards that point. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. I don't want it to happen. Tim Pool does not want it to happen. I've commented on the same things. We're seeing things that are concerning. This was before the election, and Andrew Wilson did not think that Trump was going to win. That's irrelevant to this reaction here. But what Andrew Wilson was saying, that Biden's going to win, Trump supporters aren't going to do anything. But let's look at what happened. Obviously, Trump won, and now we're in the position, are Trump supporters or Biden supporters going to do anything? Let me show you something. We do have absolutely Biden supporters, bigger than Biden supporters, actual government officials saying that they're going to do something.
One who intends to come take away the freedom and opportunity and dignity of Illinoisans. I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me. One who intends...
What is that? Andrew Wilson, I want to hear a comment on what is that? Tim Pool saying things are escalating. Donald Trump's not even president yet. That is the governor of Illinois referring to himself as a happy warrior. He's happy with food, we know that for sure. But in this case, he's talking about being happy going against the federal government.
I would remind you that a happy warrior is still a warrior. You come for my people, you come through me.
So Andrew Wilson, Tim Pool's talking about we're heading towards civil strife, civil stress, whatever you want to call it, that could lead to civil war, which we don't want. I just showed you the governor of Illinois, as big as he is, saying that he's going to block the federal government. That's different than saying I'm not going to cooperate. It's legal. You can, as a state or local government, say, we don't like what you're doing, federal government, we're not going to help you. The federal government can't make the states help, but the states can't get in the way. Here's the mayor. He has backtracked off these statements, Why did he have to backtrack off of them? But let's hear what he had to say as well.
Is saying we're going to maintain our sanctuary city status, and we're not going to put up with mass deportations from Donald Trump in January. Illegals are allowed to stay here, and we will protect them.
Look at this clown. He says this. More than us having Denver Police Department stationed at the county line to keep them out, you would have 50,000 Denverites there. It's like the Tiananmen Square moment when the rose and the gun, right? You'd hate every one of those Highland moms who came out for the migrants, and you do not want to mess with them. Really? You really think a lot of those moms...
Yeah, tell me what that is. So Andrew Wilson, tell me what that is. Tim Pool came soft in this debate. We're going to get back to the debate here, but I want to give the context. After the election, this is where we're at. And then not only that, there's more. What did Tom Hammond say in response to this?
Tom, you heard this mayor out there in Colorado. I want to get your reaction to it, and I want you to be clear about who has jurisdiction, the federal government or state and local governments. And if you're a sanctuary state or city, are you breaking the law?
You're absolutely breaking law. All you have to do is look at Arizona versus U.S. You'll see these breaking law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute. It's Title 8 United
What is that called? When the federal government threatens, and he's not even in office yet, he's not going to be an official position other than advisor to the president. He's not going to be in the cabinet. He's not going to be confirmed. That's Tom Hammond. What is this? What does this sound like to you?
There's a statute. It's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III. And what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, President Trump's been clear, we want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats.
Yeah, what does this sound like to you, Andrew Wilson, when the guy that's going to be heading the border, as the border czar, says this?
Look at Arizona versus U.S., you'll see these breaking law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail.
Acting like it.
What does that mean they're not acting like it?
Well, if somebody is guilty of sedition, that's firing squad. If they're guilty of treason, they get hung.
Sedition is not.
They don't get worked with.
Sedition is like maximum 10 years in prison, I believe.
Okay, fine. Well, they're
fine.
not getting 10 years in prison either. But
well, that's the question of whether Donald Trump gets elected. The issue is conservatives overwhelmingly they're not revolutionaries. The question is, do we expect, with everything that's already happened, we're at the point now where since the beginning of this conversation with Donald Trump, they've accused the president of being a traitor. They've accused Donald Trump of being a traitor.
That's true.
They have acted as though he is a traitor. They cemented his feet so that he couldn't run his administration. They effectively levied legal war against him during his entire administration.
But you need a percentage of the American public who's acting in a court.
Tell me what you think. Do you see this is the debate? It's a pretty big topic. We're not we're not even with the inauguration yet, and we've already got threats that we heard from the Trump camp. Give me a comment. Let me know. Is Tim right or is Andrew Wilson right? I don't care who you like more. People get into this. To me, they get into I like Andrew Wilson more or Tim Pool more. I don't care. Who is right in this clip, in this discussion?
Accordance with that against the system.
No.
In a physical way.
Wrong.
I don't think that's wrong.
Read a book.
I mean, just saying.
Every single instance
Just saying,
of social...
five guys are running around with guns in some small scale incursion. That's not fucking civil war.
And say it was civil war.
Well, that's what we're talking about is civil unrest and civil war.
And what precipitates that is social breakdown when people lose confidence in their government.
I agree. That's what precipitates it. That's true. You have social breakdown. You have social cohesion breaking down.
You're sitting here going...
But that doesn't mean that that's what it is. And you can also, you know what else you can get? Instead of civil war, you can get... Instead of revolution, instead of civil war, you can have a renaissance too. Sometimes social breakdowns lead to renaissance. You forget about that as well.
That's a great point. I always think about it towards the negative, you could say. But he is right. That can happen. It usually doesn't happen in that order, and Tim's going to address that. But that's still a valid point.
Well, usually you get a revolution or you get a civil war. Civil wars will end with one power structure typically takes over. The outright destruction is rare. Someone always asserts authority. But you get a revolution when no one fights, or you get a civil war when someone decides to fight back. What we could experience is a communist revolution in the United States.
You could.
If the right does nothing, we are facing an election where we already know from 2020 no one will agree on the results. To then say, after this election, everything will be fine, I believe is absurdity.
Okay, so
I agree. I can't believe I'm saying this.
So I'll say this. No, I still have to disagree. This has been going on for years and years, where the American government has prepared for contingencies for civil war. This has been going on forever. And to be honest with you, Tim, you've been talking about the Civil War since long before I even got into online politics. I was listening to you talk about, hey, this is right around the corner. It's coming soon to a theater near you. The stage is set. We're very close to it. And we weren't really that close to it. So the thing is like...
Do you think January 6th was...
Yeah, we've had a lot of events. We've had the Summer of Love. We've had January from 2021. We've got other issues leading up to this point. President Trump took a graze to his ear. I mean, Tim has been somebody... You're going to have to talk me off the ledge at this point. Tim has been proven correct that we are edging towards that. When we look back in the history books 100 years from now, we're going to be looking at this thing decade by decade, maybe even 20 years at a time, maybe even 30 years at a time. So when Trump came down the escalator 2015, we're only 9 years from that. We're in the first part of this. And this whole strife didn't start until Trump came down that escalator. So now we're into it. Let me know what you think. Give a like, comment, subscribe. Best thing is, if you enjoy the content, click the link below for the next video. We could be talking about Laura Loomer, Anna Kasparian, Tim Pool, Patrick Bet-David, who knows? But it's going to be after show carnage no matter what. Let me know what you think.